What's good, y'all? All praise. I've been sitting still searching for God. It's gone great. Easy street is peace. The hands of relief like all state. How can I lose? It's proven, of course. I'm on pace. We all want energy cross states. Even odds, Venus, Mars, we connected it all on raw faith. Keep the crowd jumping like ball fakes. Haters hate with the long face. We taking up our space. Jesus sequel, and these are the lost tapes. Yeah, I want to talk about detachment. Detachment. Detachment is the opposite side of. What's the opposite side of? Sometimes we want to think about things in a very creative way, and we think about creating sort of like having clay. It's putting clay onto things. It's very active. It's very doing. But detachment speaks to the opposite side of that. That there's also the pulling away from. There's the negative space. There's the letting go. And I found that detachment is super important in terms of the creative process. You thought it was just adding more clay, more clay, more clay, more clay. We certainly have a socio-political system and a kind of culture that thinks about adding more clay. There's always more, do more, act more, be more efficient, more and more and more. And but that's not what reality is, and that's not how the cycles of nature are, and that's not what is, and that goes against the balance of what is reality and what is nature. And I just find that things work the best when they're in tune with nature. Our physics approach needs to be mapped somewhat onto nature. Our understanding of the food, whatever you want to call it, a food pyramid or some other guidelines, it needs to be in tune with what is natural. You can't just make it up whole cloth. It needs to be um, needs to support life. It needs to be aware of how it like how the human engages with it. So detachment is a part of things, a part of the creative process, and detachment is major key, even though it can kind of be hard, particularly if you're brought up in that other set of definitions. You know what I'm saying about action, about grabbing hold of onto things, um, and but you get to understand that detachment's important because you know that the world is full of stories. You know that the world is built up full of stories. We all have a different world in our minds, in a way, and these worlds govern our beliefs and our limitations. They govern the separations that we see in the world and the priorities and the value systems and how we view ourselves and how we view each other and what's possible. And like they all classify in different ways. You might call it a philosophy, or you're born into a religion. You have a Christian story about yourself and the relationship of you and the world. The atheists have a different story, but it's like those are kind of the bigger ones. But there's also these offhand things that happen in life. These little comments that we might hear our parents say. The girls that you liked in high school might say something, and you get a sense of reality through that, and you internalize that. The boys on your block agree on a set of definitions about what it means and what life is and what the good life is and what the certain set of values, and you can internalize that, and that'll be your sense of the world until you expand it, until you know what I'm saying, um learn that perhaps there are other ways to be or other value sets at play. So real talk, like it's everything from, you know what I mean, like notions of beauty and height. um Talk to a black woman long enough, you'll hear stories about colorism growing up. We were told a story about colorism in hair, about skin color in hair, and which is good and which is less good. And there's a whole bunch of value sets in that. And these are like little offhand things that you might hear, in candid moments. These aren't necessarily rules, but they might be something that, and it just bounces off the kid's mind and his psyche and her psychology and her sense of, okay, these are this is valuable, this is less valuable, this is, And there's a book called "The Body Holds the Score." I think body holds the score, the count. I gotta find it. I read some excerpts of it, but it addresses this. It wants to say that the body holds on to these things. It's not even a conscious. You might not have ever. You might not have consciously told yourself, okay, you know, but it holds a reference point there psychologically. All these different limitations, all these different definitions that are only reflections of the moment, the reflections of the person who was speaking to you at the time, or the thing you heard. They don't tell you anything, but you might have assumptions about authority. You might have a desire to fit in, and then at some point, it goes from a story into just an internalized assumption, a truth, a way that you embody it now. You embody that value set. And it will feel like it's your choice. It will feel like something you chose. It will feel like it's very seamless. It's just life. But the truth is that something new is always possible. I don't see. I'm giving just a few examples here, but the examples are fucking rangy. And so what's new is always possible. And we're all sort of unlearning stuff. And I find that it's kind of like a container kind of thing. Like if we think of ourselves as a container, we are infinite. We are infinite in this way, but we are also a container. It's a paradox, right? And so you're a container that can hold a certain kind of volume of stuff, but that you first have to let go of the stuff you're already holding. You're a container, you can hold, 300 marbles, whatever unit we want to deal with. You can hold 300 marbles, but you've already got 280 fucking marbles in there. You gotta pour some out. Okay. And the marbles you have feel comfortable for you. They feel consistent. You're aware. You have a relationship with those marbles. But if you pour some out, you will be replenished with new marbles that are more in tune with your desire, right? Because what marbles to pour out? The ones that don't jibe with you, the ones that don't empower you. I'm not telling you which ones. It's gonna be different for everyone. The ones that don't empower you, the ones that don't engage with your fullness, the one that seems to undermine what feels natural and intuitive to you, and then replace them with ones that do empower you, stories that are yours, and let that be real, because that too is real. And then somehow in that process of letting go of the marbles, replenishing, somehow the jar itself expands. That's kind of work. That muscle of removing, adding, the jar itself is now it's a 350 marble fucking container. Your awareness opens up, and more is even possible. Like, oh, I have the ability to set the conditions of my life and the boundaries, and to choose the marbles per se. But this can be tough sometimes, and it's just a process. And one of the best modes I've had for detachment is one like really just like a physical detachment. Like we're talking about a psychological detachment from concepts and from ideas of the self and stuff. But like a physical detachment can do the same. Can help a great deal. Like an actual your physical world, whether you are aware of it or not, has built up a whole vernacular and a whole set of assumptions about you and for you. People are calling you in the way that they assume about you, and in the way that you've agreed over time. And even from love, people will be assuming what they know about you as opposed to what you know about you. And just having some time to not be responding to the old version of yourself is powerful, and it propels you into a different realm, a different timeline, until you're ready enough to actually embody and hold the 350 marbles, you know? So actual detachment is really good. Physical detachment aids in the psychological detachment. Physical detachment also is kind of implies this is just sort of solitude, sort of a meditative state, talking about being absent the assumptions of the previous condition of the previous world, real of all those stories, and coming to find that you are God and that God is all around you and that this moment is God. And depending on what we're talking about detaching from, there'll be moments of grief. There'll be grieving. I'll end with this. There'll be moments of grief because on the path to any dream, on the path to any concept that you are aiming towards, you eventually hit a point where you realize the reality. It was a concept that you started with. There was an assumption. It was hopeful. It was a bit distant. It was a dream. And as you pursue it, you will come to connect with the reality of the condition. So it's like, I saw a great video that talked about this. And so, medical school, you fantasize about being a doctor in medical school, and you're going to have to grieve the dream about the playful medical school thing and like actually go through the difficulty of medical school, the effort of medical school to become a doctor. People can fantasize about being a parent. And I have this big flowery thing about love and parenting. And then you will have to grieve that conception, that dream, because when you have a child, the child will not just be awesome and beautiful and cute and all that, but it'll also like cause you suffering. It'll cause you lack of sleep. It will cause you difficulty. There will be things that you haven't predicted. And the truth of the moment will, you'll have to detach. If you are sitting there angry, attached to the dream, judging the moment, judging the baby. Why is this baby's crying so much? You assume that the baby would be a more pleasant baby because you saw some other pleasant baby somewhere. You will have to agree and to detach from the story and be in the present and figure out why the baby's crying and figure out in the moment what the realities are. Um, however potentially unpleasant or pleasant, the fullness of the moment and detachment from the other story. I think that's powerful. I think I know that this is we're talking about something that, this is a human condition. This is a power of the human mind and the human experience of this experience. And it's a power that, can get, ignored because everybody wants to talk about Donald Trump and everybody wants to talk about blah, 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 and Elon Musk. And look at this. Look what they're doing over there. And we don't stop and go, oh shit, I have the ability to do what we've described here, to imagine and to detach and to replenish and to alter my own identity and to alter my world for the better, obviously. Toward the only reason I would do this, I'm doing this because I have a goal in mind. I have a vision. That my vision is valid. That I'm powerful enough to have a vision, and I'm powerful enough to step into it and step towards it. And all of these things happen, and I'm supported. And much of it can be explained, and we can just simply, talk about it in a certain psychological way. But there's just a mystical element of the marshaling of reality towards your aim as you continue towards it, as you continue to embody it, and as you detach from what isn't yours, from what you choose to not be yours. All right, that's the message. I like it. It's a beautiful day. I hope you're having an amazing day. I see the God in you. Check out the rest of my YouTube. You're gonna love these videos. And yeah, that's how Billy sees it. See you next time.